Always great having my next guest on the show. It's Bryan Battle, who will be back in action at UFC Charlotte on May the 13th when he takes on Gabe Green. Bryan, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic, man. I appreciate you having me on the show today. How about yourself? How you doing?
I'm good. It's always a pleasure having you on, man. You know that. And happy to see you back in there. You got another tough opponent. December was your last fight. I just want to start there. Did you want this much time off? Or are you hoping to get back in there sooner?
Um, so I after the last fight, I needed a little bit of time because right before the fight, I had sustained a little bit of an injury, so I needed to nurse that and rehab that a little bit. But yeah, man, I've been ready to fight for a little bit now. The timing is perfect. You know what I'm saying? If I could have fought before, I would have loved to, but to be able to fight on the UFC's return to Charlotte, I mean, that's a dream come true. So, um, everything, I can't complain about anything. I'm happy with how everything's gone, and I'm ready to perform on May 13th, man.
How did that injury before the fight to Renat, how did that affect your ability to perform in there?
Um, it made it hard to get up and grapple the way I wanted to. And Renat was a really, really, really tough guy. You know what I'm saying? Even if I was, you know, pretty healthy, clicking at all cylinders, that still would have been a really tough fight. So, it is what it is. I still learned a lot in that fight. You know what I'm saying? There's still, uh, Renat was such a monster just being in there with him. I learned some things and, I was able to change my, perspective and approach to a couple things. I'm a better fighter because of it. So, uh, you know, uh, you know, whatever happened is going into that fight. There was a bunch of crazy things. Short notice. I had a little injury. The week of the fight, I got sick. You know what I'm saying? I was in the hospital the day before the fight. There was a bunch of just crazy stuff going on. And then on top of all of that, Renat is the guy that you should be having a full camp for him would have been nice. You know what I mean? I'd still love to have that rematch because I mean, like I said, just having a full camp and being healthy, that'd be dope. You know what I'm saying? Just to see how different things would be. And, I'm just a better fighter now. You know what I'm saying? So uh yeah, long answer to a short question, but
Uh, No, I appreciate that, man. I mean, I was looking at, your record from amateur all the way up until now, and your last loss before that to Renault was in 2019. So it's been a minute since you felt what it's like to lose. And you say you're a better fighter now. Does that just make you hungrier now? Or are you like even more motivated than you were before that fight?
um always, I mean, there's always hunger, there's always motivation, you know what I'm saying? I always want to get to the top. There's just what stuff like that does for me is that I can get, over infatuated with certain things and get complacent in other areas. Going into like that fight, I was so confident in my ability to get up and, to work off my back that, I had let my takedown defense slip a lot because, I just always, felt like I couldn't be held down. And, you know, we're at the top level of the sport. You know what I'm saying? You can't be complacent in any area of the game. You know what I'm saying? You have to be prepared to do it all. You have to be prepared to defend. You have to be prepared to get up. So, just things like that. Uh, so yeah, no, I definitely am better because of it. And, just a little approach, you know what I'm saying? Knowledge is power. The more you know, the better you can be. You know what I'm saying? Getting that experience, knowing what it feels like, just all those things, you know what I'm saying? So, uh, not I wouldn't necessarily say I have more motivation because I never really lacked the motivation. I just have a more perspective than I did before.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So December, we're looking at almost 6 months since your last fight. Obviously, you're training on a regular basis, but what has life been like for you outside of camp? Have you done anything different? Any trips? Anything new in your life?
Oh man, dude, I tell you, life is just crazy, man. You know what I'm saying? Life is just all over the place. I mean, It was fun. I got to visit Extreme Couture because I had to go to Vegas for a day, and that was cool. You know what I'm saying? Sparring with all the guys over there. That was fun to be with a bunch of world class guys. But I mean, other than that, outside of myself and training myself is just being on the coaching and cornering tip, you know what I'm saying? Like coaching the little kids, we're going to tournaments all over the place, and they're competing at a ridiculous level for kids. Like youth MMA is insane, man. You know what I'm saying? What MMA is going to be like in 10 years is going to be what these kids are going to be doing is just ridiculous, you know what I'm saying? And then just helping out my teammates, you know what I'm saying? As a team, Carolina Combat Sports, we've been very active, very busy, you know what I'm saying, all over the place, fighting anybody we can fight. So just going around with my teammates and my coach, helping out, and just being immersed in the fight game. You know what I'm saying?
You seem like you'd be a phenomenal coach to me. Do you feel like when you're done fighting that's going to be your calling? You're going to slide right into like a head coaching role and really just dive into that and make that your number one?
Um, yeah, ideally, you know what I'm saying? But it's like when I coach, you know what I'm saying? I'm like because people coach for different reasons, you know what I'm saying? There's so many. That's what's cool about coaches, that some people they love the competition, some people, they just enjoy seeing people's lives change and getting to know people and whatnot. And it's like the uh being able to coach someone who you know like I said, these like little kids, you know what I'm saying? I've coached a lot of little kids now. Since the gym split, I started off with two kids that I had coached for a long time. It was just the three of us for a long time, but these kids are so passionate, you know what I'm saying? They just love it so much, you know what I'm saying? And being involved with stuff like that and then having other younger teammates coming up who, I've been where they're at, you know what I'm saying? Being around stuff like that, as a fighter right now, it keeps me humble and keeps me grounded and, motivates me, you know what I'm saying, to keep on pushing and keep on getting better so that, uh, you know, I practice what I preach, you know what I'm saying? And then, after my career, absolutely, I would love to, but I'm a competitive coach. You know what I'm saying? There's not a whole lot of money in competitive coaching. You know what I'm saying? So unless we get like a huge staple of fighters or something like that, I'll always be involved with coaching. So yeah, long answer to a
Okay.
short question, I'd definitely be coaching. If I could do it full time, that'd be really cool. But right now I'm just worried about be fighting people myself. You know what I'm saying? So we'll cross that bridge when we get
Okay.
there.
Very good. Fair enough. Now, one thing I do know that has changed since I've seen you last is you've gone blonde. So I wanted to ask you how that came about. And are you basically going to be like the welterweight version of Blonde Brunson? Now it's Blonde Battle, right?
Yeah, I know, dude. We're just representing out of the Carolinas. You know, what I'm saying he's in Wilmington. I'm in Charlotte. Uh, you know, and it's funny after you dye your hair blonde, you realize how many guys have dyed their hair blonde because you just get comparisons to all these people. But Kevin Randleman, Dennis Rodman. You know what I'm saying? Pete Davidson. I got a lot of Pete Davidson. You know what I'm saying? When my roots grow out and my hair gets a little curlier, Justin Timberlake. I get a lot of Justin Timberlake. So it's funny. It's definitely really funny. Charles Oliveira. I get a lot of Charles Oliveira too. But how it happened was for my long hair. It's always like you said. My last loss was in 2019. That was the last time I cut my hair. I like when I have win streaks. Generally speaking, I let my hair grow out. As long as the win streak goes. So I lost in December. I cut my hair, and me and my sisters, we had like a little sibling weekend at like an Airbnb, and they're joking. They always like to try to do crazy things with my hair. They're like, "You should let us dye your hair." You know what I'm saying? It can't. You already have short hair. You could just cut it again. And I thought it would be funny as like a little joke, and so we did it. And then the problem was, it was one of those things where I was like, I'm not mad about this. You know what I'm saying? My sisters are all gassing me up. They're like, "Oh, you look good." It's like, oh. You know what I'm saying? So, um, yeah, it's just fun. You know what I'm saying? Little extra spice, a little extra sauce. You know what I'm saying? Uh, and yeah, so we'll keep it for the foreseeable future. You know what I'm saying? Have those Super Saiyan vibes. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, I love it. So has anybody called you? Has anybody coined the phrase "blonde battle" yet?
There's been a lot of you already know how Twitter is. You know what I'm saying? You post a picture, that's new mythical fighter unlocked, blonde battle. You know what I'm saying? So it's but it's my hair's been changing so much it keeps on happening. Like cut your hair, new mythical fighter unlocked, bald battle. You know what I'm saying? You dye it, new mythical fighter unlocked, blonde battle. You know what I'm saying? It's like I haven't even fought yet. You know what I'm saying? I can't be a new mythical fighter until I actually do something first. But no, it's been cool. I mean, overall, the people love the blonde hair. You know what I'm saying? I'm a man of the people. You know what I'm saying? I'm the people's champ. So you know what I'm saying? The people love the blonde hair. I got to keep the blonde hair. You know what I'm saying?
You got to keep it, man. It looks good for my 2 cents, for whatever that's worth. Let's talk a little bit about the welterweight division. One of the best in the UFC. Leon Edwards is the champion. He beat Usman again, and I got to be honest, man. I didn't see it coming. I thought Kamaru was going to go in there and get his belt back. What was your thoughts on that title fight? Were you surprised that Leon won?
Going into it, I was really curious how Leon was going to perform because he kept on saying how bad his performance was in Utah. He was like he beat Kamaru with his worst possible performance. The elevation apparently like messed him up, and he did win the first round in the first fight. Um, but it is kind of going into that fight. It was like, man, but dude, you got held up for a minute. You know what I'm saying? You lost three consecutive rounds, going into the fifth. And, you could say, yeah, the fifth round was like relatively competitive, but he was about to lose the fight until he landed that head kick. So um, I was really like, I was aware that Leon, I didn't want to say I was picking him because, just Kamaru Usman's just such a force, you know what I'm saying? And the way that fight was going, but with what he was saying, combined with the fact that he had just become the champ and just knocked out Kamaru, I knew he was going to have more confidence going into the fight. And the way that he was talking to Kamaru going into the fight, I just felt like he was just exuding so much confidence, and like it was like he knew something. You know what I'm saying? It was just like so. It's like if I went back, my official pick was probably Usman, but I had like a feeling that the fight at least was going to be more competitive. Like Leon felt like going into that fight, he was just on a different level. So, but to see the fight go the way it went, I was pretty surprised. Like I did not expect it to be as one sided as it was. Leon looked amazing.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Do you feel right now that he is still the best guy in the division? There's a lot of talent at the top of 170. I mean, you got Colby Covington right there. Bilal Muhammad is chirping, wanting a title shot. Gilbert Burns just retired Masvidal. So do you feel like Leon gets through those guys, or is there someone that you think stands out that could, go and steal that belt from him?
Out of that current tier of guys, all of them are capable of beating Leon. I don't think any of them beat Leon right now. You know what I'm saying? His striking's too sharp. His takedown defense is, if Kamaru isn't taking you down, you know what I'm saying? I don't think any of those other guys, as long as he stays sharp and on top of it, are able to get the job done in the takedown department. Um, yeah, oh, we're good. All
Yep.
right, yes. Um, if someone beats him, it's definitely got to be out of that like new crop of welterweights coming up, like someone like Shavkat or I don't even know if Hamzat's a welterweight anymore. That's kind of weird. You know what I'm saying? Like he's saying one thing and Dana's saying the other thing. So who knows? But yeah, out of that current top group of guys, I don't really think anyone's beaten Leon based off what I just saw in that last fight.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough. It seems like Shemaev is going up to 185. That's what it seems to all the reports are saying. And you're right. You mentioned Shavkat. That's a name right there. That guy is an animal. So I'd like to see him in the mix as well. But one thing's for certain, the 170 division is stacked. There's a lot of killers, even outside of the top 15, like yourself, man. So let's transition to your upcoming fight, UFC Charlotte. Tell me about camp specifically, like training partners, anyone new that you've had lately, or has it been kind of like your normal training partners that you've had in the past?
Um, well, right now I'm very fortunate based off Green style and frame and size and arm length and everything. I have some pretty good guys inside my gym who can give me that look. What I'm saying, if he had a different style and was different size, then we probably would have brought someone in. But um the guys that we got can give me a beautiful look. So my main training partner for this is my teammate Jonathan Martin. You know what I'm saying? He'll probably be in the UFC after one or two more fights, at least a shot on the contender series. He's 4-1 right now, just won the Aries FC lightweight title. So he's been doing a lot of work with me. And we've been getting in a lot of, I mean, granted, the fight hasn't been booked for super long, but I already feel, as I am right now, I feel super duper sharp. You know what I'm saying? I feel fast. I feel really strong. My vision's really good. I'm seeing things. So the fight camp got off to a great start. It's going really, really well. You know what I'm saying? We're probably even further along than we would need to be at this point. But coming up to May 13th, we get to just fine tune, you know what I'm saying, tweak things, figure out what's going to stick, what's not going to stick, how we want to approach things, you know what I'm saying, and get even faster and get even stronger, you know what I'm saying, so we can really put on a peak performance, you know what I'm saying. I'm looking forward to this fight because really, I mean, I haven't really got to show a lot of improvements since the Trey Sean fight. That was the last time I had a fight last for any significant amount of time where, I actually got to move around and, fight because, and the Takashi fight, that fight ended in 44 seconds. So, that was a great showcase, but I didn't really get to showcase a whole lot. And then, Renat, that was such a suffocating style, you know what I'm saying? He controlled me the whole time. So, it wasn't really me fighting and getting to show what I've gotten better at. So, it'll definitely be very, very interesting. I can't wait to show off a little bit. And Gabe, I'm looking forward to seeing how much he's gotten better. You know what I'm saying? Because it's been a little while since he's fought too. So, yeah, that'll be really fun. I feel like he's gotten a little bit better every fight, so I'm anticipating him being a good bit better in this fight, especially coming off a loss.
Yeah, it sounds like based on what you're saying, we're going to see a new and improved version of Bryan Battle.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I mean, just a more polished, you know what I'm saying? Better, you know what I'm saying? Better at everything. So, yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Now, Gabe Green, you mentioned he has looked pretty good even in that loss to Ian Gary. He showed some heart. I mean, to stay in there with Ian Gary to make it the distance, that right there is a feather in your cap with how skilled that young man is. And before that, he beat Johan Lainez. So when you look at what he brings to the table, where do you feel like he's most dangerous? Where do you feel like you're going to hold a big advantage here in this fight?
Well, like you said, I mean, he's 2-2 in the UFC. The two guys he lost to, you know what I'm saying? D-Rod and Ian Gary, tough guys, you know what I'm saying? It fought Phil Rowe in Phil's debut in the UFC, and Phil's a killer, you know what I'm saying? That would have been an interesting fight if he fought with Phil Rowe now, you know what I'm saying? But I would have to say, if you watch his fights, the main attributes that stand out is, when he throws hard. You know what I mean? He's very tough, very durable, and has pretty solid cardio. So the thing with all those is that that's not necessarily what you want people saying is like your best attributes. You know what I'm saying? Because those are things that can be dealt with, in my humble opinion. You know what I'm saying? You have a really tough guy with really great cardio. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Make sure your cardio is really good to keep pace with him. You know what I'm saying? You know, and, he gets a lot of credit for, going to the decision with the guys, going to the decision with Ian. And, that's going to the decision with someone. I don't know what your objective is in the UFC, but that's not really something to hang your hat on. You know what I'm saying? I made it to a decision with Ian. And I don't think he won very much of that fight. But with that being said, that's why I think he's going to come into this fight, pretty hot. You know what I'm saying? I think he's going to try to make up for that fight and, redeem himself a little bit. But I'm a tough matchup. You know what I'm saying? I'm a really tough matchup for him. So, um, I'm looking forward to seeing what he brings to the table. I'm looking forward to, dealing with it however I got to. You know what I mean?
Based on what you're saying, my hunch is you think you're going to probably wear him down and maybe finish him late. Am I accurate there? How do you see this fight ending?
Man, there's a million different ways this fight could go. Depending on how he comes at me. I could see him trying to take me down. To be honest, based off of the last fight, I could definitely see him wanting to take me down. And if that isn't in the initial part of the game plan, I feel like it's gonna become a part of the game plan. I mean, everyone shoots. You know what I'm saying? I haven't fought someone who hasn't shot yet. The one person who didn't shoot was Takashi. You know what I'm saying? And that's because he never got the chance to shoot. So um, I, I you know, I have the advantage on the feet. You know what I'm saying? It is. Well, I'm bigger. I'm longer. You know what I'm saying? There isn't much of a speed advantage. And up to this point, I've been more tactical when it comes to the striking. So, um, we're gonna come out there and we're gonna work. You know what I'm saying? Depending on the openings that I see, you know what I'm saying. It could be a short fight. It could be a long fight. I'm gonna be ready to go all 15 minutes. You know what I'm saying? And he's a tough guy that can eat a lot of punches. So I'm just gonna be ready to punch him over and over and over and over and over again. You know what I'm saying? For 15 minutes or however long I got to do it for. So um, it should be an entertaining fight for the fans. That's what I'm thinking. This is gonna be a good guy that I can showcase all my skills against.
You get this big win in Charlotte. How you celebrating afterwards?
Man, it's gonna be pandemonium, dude. You know what I'm saying? Everyone's gonna be. That's a I gotta find someone to put in charge of the after party. You know what I'm saying? Because I can't waste any time thinking about it. You know what I'm saying? All my attention's on Gabe Green right now. So thinking about an after party is kind of trivial, but at the same time, it's important. So someone's got to do it. It can't be me. You know what I'm saying? But someone's got to put together an after party. Um, so that when after the fight goes down, after I pick up this big W, I can go out and see all my people, you know what I'm saying, all the people who supported me up to this point. Um, and maybe wave at some people who didn't believe in me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But no, I can't wait. I think Charlotte's gonna be on fire after this event. You know what I'm saying? Like the fight community is going to be lit up. You know what I'm saying? There's a bunch of guys who are on the come up over here. You know what I mean? That don't get the respect they deserve because we're fighting out of North Carolina, which isn't traditionally viewed as like an MMA state. You know what I mean? But the talent is just as good as anywhere else I've ever been. You know what I mean? We just need the people to believe in themselves. You know what I'm saying? We just need the fighters here to realize that they got the talent and the ability to fight with the best guys in the world. So, yeah, no, it's gonna be crazy being able to fight here in Charlotte. I can't wait, man. It's gonna be magical.
Do you partake in a couple of adult beverages when you're celebrating? Is that anything that you do?
Um, Listen, I don't know what you're talking about. Sometimes I forget what happens after the fight.
Fair enough. Well, I had to.
People pass me drinks. I don't know. I'm always assuming it's water, but it doesn't taste like water. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
I don't. Yeah.
I understood. I had to mention to you, man. I had a layover in Charlotte, and
Yeah.
I had OMB Hornet's Nest.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It was amazing. It was one of the best beers I've ever had in my life. So I don't know if you've had it before, but it's not anywhere else. I called the brewery and I wanted to buy some, have them ship them to me. but they said they weren't at that point yet. So if you haven't had it, you have to give it a try. It's really, really good.
See, I haven't had the Hornet's Nest. I've had the OMB. I've had a couple OMBs. I've had OMB Copper and the OMB Big Daddy. I like Old Mecklenburg Brewery. That's a, you know what I'm saying? They're cool people, you know what I'm saying? That's awesome. You had a freaking OMB. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what's cool about beer. It can be so localized, you know what I'm saying? You could have a really good beer in the middle of like nowhere, but that's what's up.
Yeah, amazing, man. Well, Bryan, I wish you the best here of this upcoming fight. May 13th, UFC Charlotte. Bryan Battle is back in action against Gabe Green. Again, man, it's always great talking to you. I really appreciate the time. Before we do sign off, I want to give you the floor. Please tell people where they can follow you on social media. Do you have anyone to thank? The floor is yours.
Thank you, man. First of all, thank you for having me on the show. You know what I'm saying? It's always great talking to you, man. Um, and on Instagram, Bryan Battle 68, Twitter, Bryan Battle 10. And just shout out to my wife for putting up with all my craziness and my crazy schedule. Shout out to my coach, all the coaches who have helped build me, you know what I'm saying, my teammates, who helped push me. And big shout out to Jason House, the Radium Sports, all them boys for, helping me make magic happen. You know what I'm saying? And we need the whole team to make all this stuff come together. So everyone around me who helps me get to where I want to be, thank you.